Well, Counter-Strike 2 is here, and, I tell you what I have to think about as a lifelong devoted Valve fan. Now, I'm not really into these competitive type fucking clusterfuckery of online esportsy type things, but I was very interested, so I checked it out. And right off the bat, I could tell that the presentation was fantastic, but ultimately it's such a hollow experience at the moment that I really don't have much time for it or enjoyment, and I thought I would share that with the rest of the world. Now, there's definitely tons more greatness to be found in Source Half-Life-y type worlds. One of the best being Gary's mod by a long shot. There's just so much amazing things to do in that game that it's simply fucking mind-boggling. And it's a lot of fun, but it's in, past source type games. So this getting into Counter-Strike 2 is interesting, and yeah, of course they nuked my fucking Counter-Strike global offensive content in goddamn Gary's mod. Okay, well that's fine. I mean, they took a whole bunch of shit away, so I imagine the community will have interesting opinions and thoughts about that. But me just loading in as a general like source fucking source fiend, into the source things. What I could tell right off the bat is how stunning the maps and lighting and all the detail looks like. I mean, it's really a step up potentially from obviously source, but even global offensive. I noticed there's a very cool detail to pretty much the whole world. But I mean, at the end of the day, there's really so much graphics can get you, and what I played, it felt like a glorified tech demo. I mean, it was just it was really pretty to look at, but right off the surface, I couldn't figure out how to do much of anything. And, that was something that was kind of comical to me. And it's just like these types of games sometimes feel hollow in experience, you get them and you're like, oh, this is gonna be cool, and it's gonna be like this, and it's just not. This is what it was like for me, because I could be like, oh yeah, this is a cool world, I could really get into this, but when really all there is to do is battle each other online at the moment, I just really don't see any point into playing these games. And if I could talk to the developers, one thing that I would definitely say is, you could have added just a little bit more to the average person, especially if you're going to nuke global offensive, which I'm sure has. I thought it had like workshop and shit. I thought it had like tons of content. So for them to go from that to that, I mean, it's kind of a cheap out on their fucking their consumers if they take away one game and they give considerably less, but in a nicer, prettier package that's apparently the future. It's not a good thing to do to gamers. It's kind of a fucking smack in the face, honestly, for the consumer. And me not really gaining or losing anything from this assessment is my point of view. And the fucking goddamn terrorists and counter-terrorists, they're nice models. The world was very pretty. Everything was really nice, but it's like that shining package that's not even fucking worth anything, you know what I mean? And it fell short for me. It was a hollow, baseless assessment of what it could have been, and what it should have been, really. I mean, I could tell that there was probably maybe about 10, 15 maps, maybe max, but I mean, that's one of the core things. And maybe there'll be a workshop, and maybe they'll add more season pass. I'm sure they will. Maybe they'll monetize it. Who knows? But that's that kind of feeling, is that this prettiness you gotta pay for, and everywhere I looked in this game, it felt like I was being shortchanged by not spending real money. And maybe that's what their idea is here, is we have the technology to make incredible games, but we're gonna turn it into an ability to just suck the fucking dollars and cents out of every fucking human consumer. And you know what? If this was a bigger, brighter experience for me as a player from global offensive, I'd be like, you know what? Fine. I had global offensive. I don't know when I had bought it came out, or when it was garnered, but they clearly want to find some way to make more money off this. And there's premium, and there seems to be, from screenshots I tell, more models, and I don't think more maps. I looked that up heavily and couldn't fucking find the answer on that, but I mean, how cool would it have been if there was like a gigantic, maybe 30, 40 maps of varying degrees and total customization just for the average person, and then you could have like a deluxe edition or whatever, and have 100 or 80 maps. Like they cheap us out so hardcore on this stuff. I don't know how long it took them to build all these fucking goddamn maps, but it's not. They're not nice enough to spend hundreds of hours on. I'll tell you that. But like they are really really nice. And to the game's credit, beautiful presentation. I like it all. I like these kinds of newer games. But when things feel janky and wonky and monetized, it throws you off. It throws you off, and that, I'm sure competitive people will now. They'll have to. You play this as a thing. I would say, you got kind of shelved a product that is pretty on the outside, but totally and utterly hollow as a fulfilling game. And I was quickly within 40 minutes. You'll see in my other videos. I was just thrown off it and I left it. That's why I think that some people will get out of this. And I don't know how many millions of players are playing it right now, but yeah, it just kind of it was just meh. It was like I couldn't really be bothered. I mean, I guess if you want to play Counter-Strike, this is Counter-Strike, but yeah, it fucking lacked the content and really really shit the proverbial bed on how they fucked this up. So I'm not hopeful for Half-Life 3.